everyone, it's Lucy from KBeautyHobbit.com. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time watching. I do a lot of different nail tutorials here. Most of them are for nail strips, some of them require a lamp, some of them don't. I also do some press-on ones, and I have a massive playlist of everything, plus smaller playlists. For example, if you want just wraps that need a UV light, there's a playlist for that. Today I'm going to be trying Danni Toni. It is not my first time using these stickers, but I've never filmed a tutorial. I've done a sponsored unboxing for them a few years ago. This video here is not sponsored at all. In fact, I bought these with my own money. I have an affiliate code, a discount code for them that I'll put in the description. I think it's still active. But anyway, let's get started. Inside the box, we get the nails themselves. And the packaging changed a little bit since I've done that unboxing. Sometimes the brands will change the formula or the manufacturers they use, and that's why I bought a new set, just to make sure I have the latest and greatest. This color is called Silvery Moonlight. Looks like this. And it's this very beautiful chrome, kind of iridescent blue, pink, and gold shimmery color. And we get 2 sheets of that in various sizes. And then this thing, I was curious if they got rid of this or not, but I see that they still do that. There are little instructions in English here, prep pads, some basic tools, and then the scissors. And honestly, I wish that Danni Toni would stop including the scissors, because there's just no reason to include them. They're not the best, they're not the worst scissors I've ever seen, and these honestly seem more sturdy than the ones that I've gotten in years past from them. But honestly, why? If you buy 10 sets of these, you're going to end up with 10 stainless steel scissors that nobody needs. In almost every video, somebody asks me how to remove these nails. I just filmed a very much updated, recent removal video that's very detailed. So feel free to look at that. I will put a link in the description box for that. It's also in my nails playlist. Or you can just search. I actually have a few different removal videos, but the technique is the same in all of them. I just update them every so often. In this most recent one, I talk about all the different specific things that people have asked, like, does builder gel affect removal? Does top coat affect removal? Those kinds of things. I also show some remover options. Right now I am pushing back my cuticles. You can use a cuticle remover. I've used Sally Hansen before, it's just fine. But for me, this works almost better because I don't need a sink or any water. You want to do a really good job. Even if you don't think there's cuticle on your nail bed, I would still do the motion. Sometimes you can't see it, but it's there, and it's going to interfere with adhesion if you don't push it back. The next step is to remove any grease or oil with the included completely dry pad. This is dry. There's nothing on it. The second one is also completely dry. The interesting thing is it says prep nails with cotton pads here in the instructions. It doesn't say saturate cotton pads in your own rubbing alcohol. Weird. That is fine because I have a lifetime supply of Curad pads. Well, not quite a lifetime, but a Costco size box, so they will last forever. This is what I was expecting. A really nice and saturated cotton pad with rubbing alcohol on it. I always wash my hands and fully dry them with a towel and avoid any lotions or oils or creams right before application. I always wash my hands right after application to get any possible remaining top coat off the skin, but I avoid submerging my nails for extended periods of time for at least a couple of hours after application. Now we're going to get on with the actual application. So it looks like this sheet has 2 strips with identical sizes, and then this other sheet has 2 strips with identical sizes that are different from the first sheet. Typically, you'll have the more narrow end of the strip go toward the cuticle line, and with these ones, it's not super duper clear which one's supposed to be the cuticle line because there's no design, but typically it will be the more narrow one, although I have flip-flopped things just fine if I needed to in the past. Each one has an individual little protective layer. Now, this came up super recently in the comments to one of my videos that is an older video, that, oh, well, I spent so long trying to remove the individual things, but there was no individual things. After I took off the main protective layer, there was nothing else. Well, if there's a main protective layer, there's usually not an additional individual layer. And like I mentioned, brands do change their suppliers, their packaging, their formulas. So, you know, just use your best judgment. If there's nothing there, then there's nothing there. I lined it up to get as close to the cuticle as possible without overlapping skin. I am pushing it down really well. Here's a tool I wish they would have included instead of the scissors. This is a rubber-tipped cuticle pusher. I use them every time I apply stickers. Doesn't matter if they need to be UV cured or not, just to get really good adhesion and make sure there's no space between the nail bed and the sticker. I can already tell this is going to be gorgeous. This looks holographic and amazing. The cool thing is once you do the first hand, you don't have to guess for the sizes on the second hand because you can just use the corresponding strips from this other half. If you're unsure which size you need and it's a difference between going too wide or too narrow, slightly too narrow would typically be better, because you don't want any overlaps. A lot of these brands can be stretched a little bit. You can hold them and stretch side to side to get a bit of extra width if you're in between sizes. Sometimes if I put it on and I see there's a little gap more than what I would like, I would put down the rubber cuticle pusher and kind of push this strip, and that stretches it a tiny bit as well. It's a little bit hard to show on video, but hopefully it makes sense. See if I can show you a little bit better. So I can grab or push down and then just kind of smush it kind of sideways to cover that little gap. And as you see, I'm pretty successful. A tiny bit of a gap is completely fine. I would even argue it's desirable because slightly too thin is better than slightly too wide. For this step, you can use nail clippers. I like to use manicure scissors because I'm so used to them. And I am cutting off mostly just a sticker with like a tiny sliver of nail. You can do just a sticker if your nails are very short. And in fact, if your nails are so short that they don't even extend past your fingertips at all, and it's hard to use scissors, go ahead and use nail clippers. For very, very, very short nails, like if you're a recovering nail biter, let's say, clippers might be better. If you're trying to preserve length, then leave a tiny bit of the wrap. Like don't even touch the nail with scissors or clippers because, you know, it's kind of easy to take some off when you don't mean to, because you can file off the tiny bit of additional extra wrap that extends past your natural nail. You can file that off after curing. I put all the stickers on. This is what's left of my sheets. I did waste one. I picked the wrong size, quickly discovered that it was too wide. I guess I was just overconfident, thinking I know what I'm doing. So I went ahead and took that off, discarded it, and used a different size. So if you did everything perfectly, you would have one additional strip left. In quantity, this is enough for another manicure. In sizing, it is not. You can use the little ones for pedicures or for your younger relatives, whatever. I always save my extras until I'm done wiring the manicure. In case something pops off and I have to emergency do repair on one nail, there's usually one sticker I can find that will work, maybe trim something, whatever. Some people sell their little spares, but I'm a little bit too lazy to do that. Before curing with a full-size lamp, I always do a squish light. Well, not always. I do this on most brands of semi-cured gels, with the exception of Nail Log and Hey Hey. Those do just fine without the squish light. But this is just a UV light with a little jelly tip. I put saran wrap on top to protect the tip. These are replaceable, but I don't want to rip it. And I saw today a hint online that you can use a Ziploc bag instead of saran wrap, that it is a lot more durable. Basically, the purpose of this is to apply pressure while starting to cure the nail, and this really helps the cuticle side not to lift. After curing with a big lamp, I go in and clean up all the little imperfections. You can see this nail is not very rounded off or even squared off, whatever. I have some weird little corners here, it's very obvious that this is a sticker because of that. I like a coarse nail file, and I prefer a longer one that's easier to hold versus the little ones that brands include. Now, if I had nothing, I would use the included one. It would be fine probably. Because I have this corner here that needs to be fixed, I'm going to file, instead of side to side, I'm going to file this way. Here's the smoothed out nail. And if you wanted to stop here, you can. This is all there is to the official application. Clean, apply, cure, done. But because I don't want to do this process every 5 days and I want them to stay and not lift at the ends either, I always do a couple optional things. Sometimes I do builder gel, and if you really want to see how I do that, I just posted a video doing that with a Hora. That's in my nails playlist. But most of the time I just do a top coat to seal in that free edge, and I don't always want to spend the time doing builder gel, to be honest. I saved that little prep pad from earlier, and the reason that I'm using it now is I just want to get rid of all of that dust from filing. Because if you put a top coat over that, it's not going to be super even. You also saw me touch my nails a whole bunch when I was smushing them down. And while I've applied top coats without prepping my nails with a rubbing alcohol pad beforehand, like the strips themselves, and it was just fine, since I'm already cleaning the dust anyway, I'll just go ahead and do the surfaces. Just keep in mind you can't do that with every brand. I think most semi-cured ones would be okay, but if you try to do a rubbing alcohol pad on something like Lily & Fox, I really don't know what would happen, because Lily & Fox cannot even stand up to sunscreen. So because I'm a child and I don't want a manicure with no design, this is really pretty, but I bought a ton of little nail decals and we're going to put some on before the top coat. You do not have to do that. You can totally be normal and have solid nails or buy something with designs on it. I got these little octopus ones and they are 3D, so they're slightly raised, and I think they're going to do great with this chrome thing. It's going to look like they're swimming in the sunlight. They're a little tricky to peel off, so I like to kind of bend it back and then take tweezers. And I know there's special nail sticker tweezers, the ones with a really fine point, and I did order some, but they're not here yet. So I'm just using regular eyebrow tweezers. Alright, I'm not going to put them on every nail or anything, I'm not that wild. I am going to put it on this ring finger. Okay. And then push it down. Actually, instead of touching everything with my fingers again, because I just degreased everything, I'm going to use this rubber cuticle pusher. Oh, isn't he cute? Oh, cute he is. I'll probably just do one on the other hand as well. I like this one, this little round one. Bought some really cute ones for my daughter, and then got a little jealous, to be honest, and then ordered a bunch for me. I know a lot of adults, though, do different floral designs or different geometric ones or whatever, not cartoon octopods. So hopefully this is helpful to you still. If you want to do something like that, you can see kind of where it goes. So this is going after I cured everything, but before I do the top coat. This is my final step. Again, totally optional, but it just really prolongs the life of the stickers for me. This is my first time using this top coat. This was gifted. It's the Lid Gel's top coat. And the reason that I'm really excited for it is because it's HEMA-free. I don't know if any of you are as paranoid about developing a gel allergy as I am, but anything to minimize that, sign me up. I will say, though, that based on all the content I watched from licensed nail techs, the biggest thing is just not to get things on your skin. If it does get on your skin, clean it off promptly, and then don't undercure. So make sure that you're curing everything properly and fully all the way, so you're not walking around with stuff that's not cured. So as you saw with the first finger, what I do is cap the free edge. I do that part first, because if you do that last, you can end up with a little bulge right here at the tip. But because I did that first, that little bulge is going to smooth out when I paint the rest of the nail. If you don't want to feel any of those seams with the sticker, if you're using little decals like I am with a little octopus, You could put builder gel before your top coat, but again, I cannot be bothered right now. It just takes me too long. Here is the finished product with the top coat on, and look how cute this one is. He's a little transparent and you can see the shine through him. Here's the other hand with the more obvious octopus. I am really impressed with these wraps. Honestly, they went on really well. I recently asked in one of the big Facebook nail groups what brands people like the most. Of course, there were some usual suspects like Ahora and Lid Gels and Nailog, and then a few people said Danni and Toni, and I'm like, huh, you know what? Yeah, they're actually not bad at all. And it's been ages since I tried them. So I bought this design and it is beautiful. Did not disappoint by any means. I don't think they hide ridges well. They were thick, not super thick, not as thick as Ahora, but not as thin as Nail Log, let's say. And I can see my nail ridges. The pattern of this hides them pretty well. But if I did a flat solid color, like a solid red, let's say, I think the ridges would be a little bit more obvious than with some of the thicker brands like Dashing Diva Glaze. But overall, I am pretty happy. Of course, the true test is how will they wear? Will they only look good for one day and then pop off like Edge U? I'm still really bitter about that, especially the fact that the brand saw me post that and never acknowledged it. I didn't expect anything from them. I don't want anything as far as like, I don't know, a refund or a free set or anything. I don't want any of that. But acknowledge that there's an issue because so many people responded to that story and said, oh yeah, me too, that happened to me too. So clearly there's a systemic issue and the brand doesn't care. But the Danni and Toni ones, really, really good. Also, this top coat, very easy to work with. Thin in a good way, as in it's really easy to spread and apply, but it's not runny, it's not drippy. It's just super, super easy to get on, even around the stickers, even around this one, which is definitely a bit more 3D than this little octopus, and it just went so, so well. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions or any suggestions on what nail brand I should try next, please drop me a comment. I try to get back to every one of you except for the mean ones. You can find me on my blog, KBeautyHobbit.com, my Facebook group, Korean Beauty Fanatics, and my Instagram at KBeautyHobbit. I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, please remember to always listen to your skin. Thank you so much. Bye.